To a career in film, television, and theater that has spanned almost 5 decades, here's Rosemary Radcliffe. Oh, you've been on our radar for a while.
Have I?
Yeah. Your story starts in St. Mary's. In your early years, were you known for your acting?
You know what? I actually don't come from St. Mary's proper.
Oh.
I grew up on a farm a little bit outside, but I did go to high school here. And I had very interesting parents, Robert and Jean Ratcliffe. And my father, I just want to talk about them for a moment. He was a farmer, but he also built and flew airplanes. And my mother was a historian and an artist. But when I was 7, she put me on the stage with two twin boys called Roger and Ross Stephen. And Roger still lives here in St. Mary's. And we sang, "All the nice girls love a sailor, all the nice girls love a tar." And I was completely terrified, but anyway, that's how I began.
Okay, and coming from St. Mary's, I know you went to Ryerson, because
I
went
did.
to Ryerson as well.
Yes.
And what was the impact of your moving to Toronto from St. Mary's?
Oh, I was completely at sea. I was a little farm girl who was in 4-H and talked only to cows, and then I got to the city and everybody misbehaved. I couldn't get over it. I mean, it was very shocking.
Mm-hmm. and knowing Ryerson at that time too, the type of people that were in the course were unusual.
Yes, of course. Yes, they were. They were. Yes. But anyway, I ended up in Ryerson on stage, and then I don't know how I began to act, but one of the people from my class, I was wandering around Toronto one day saying, "What the heck will I do with my life?" And he said, "You should go and see this agent." So it was actually somebody in Ryerson who began and put me on my way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now, what was your first paying job?
I did a commercial for Certs. And I had to ride a bicycle and chew Certs at the same time. And I've never been good on a bicycle. So I fell off many times. Anyway, the next commercial I did after that was eating Cheetos. And that was terrible because you couldn't eat them. You have to just chew a little bit and spit it in a barrel.
And how long did you have to eat them?
Well, I ate them all day.
I
I was orange by 4 o'clock. Anyway.
You've often been cast in comedy roles. Was this all part of the plan, or did it just naturally happen?
I had no plan, honestly. And I just want to digress for a minute and talk about something. Mm-hmm. I told everybody I was doing a movie, and in fact, I did shoot a movie last August called Defining Moments, and I got to meet Burt Reynolds and everything. But I've been cut out of it. So I checked the international IMDb, International Movie Database,
right. And
I'm not in the cast list, so that's an early indication that you ended up on the editing room floor.
No, we could do a petition. We're good at doing
no,
petitions. We'd like to see you in that.
No, I played a horrible old woman who used very bad language. So I think that's why they took me out of the film.
So your acting career has been long, and what have you done so far that you fondly cherish?
Oh, I don't know. I just try to show up and light up the camera if I can. I did love doing Coming Up Rosie, though. Mm-hmm. But yes, that would be. I did love that. And everybody who's 20 years younger than me watched it. And we also had fans from Queen's University who would finish their lectures at the end of the day and sit down and watch Coming Up Rosie. They used to write us fan letters.
Good. Now, you mentioned Burt Reynolds, and any other names that we might recognize?
Oh my goodness. Well, of course, I was with Second City, but mostly on the stage. I never did any of their shows because I was worn out. They were so talented and so intense and so hungry and so talented that I didn't know what to do. I lasted about a year there, and then they began the television show after that. What did you just ask me? I can't remember.
The other names that you mentioned.
Oh, of course. So I worked with John Candy, of course, who was wonderful, and Gilda Radner, and Eugene Levy, who married the girl on the door, Deborah Devine, and they have Dan Levy as their child. and who else? Dan Aykroyd, who was on Coming Up, Rosie. So I don't know. I know a bunch of people, and I did a show about Leonard Cohen. So, but I am full of secrets, and I will reveal none.
Okay, fantastic. Not one.
What?
Not one.
Not one.
Okay.
No.
Now your career's gone beyond just acting. What other things have you done?
Oh well, of course. I began to paint because I got fed up with Canada as an actor. It sort of chews you up and spits you out, and you're kind of wondering what to do next. So I began to paint. Then I got tired of that. So I'm composing now, and I've just finished a wonderful anthem for pipe organ, soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, and I founded it on the Sermon on the Mount, because when things didn't go well on the farm, my father would say to my mother, "Remember the lilies of the field. They toil not, neither do they spin." The idea being that no matter how many things go wrong in your life, something good will happen and you'll be taken care of. So I have written an anthem about this.
How is it close to finish?
It's close, and yes, I'm just doing the copying now, and I'm hoping that a church in St. Mary's will sing it.
Oh,
they don't
that'd be
know
good.
it yet. They don't know it, but
You just told us one secret.
yes. So
Now-
that's what I'm doing now.
You were nominated also for a Gemini Award.
Oh, that was so fun. Yes, we did this. We did this show, and the whole thing was it was called Married Life, I think. And I don't know. The director was a guy called Ken Finkelman, and no matter what you said to him, he would improvise and put it on script that day. So you couldn't say a thing, really.
So that was a real surprise to you.
Yes.
Now you're a talented painter. I've seen your work in the art show that's every December, I think, in St. Mary's. When did you start painting?
Well, I didn't paint till after my mother passed away, because my mother was a spectacular painter, and I was kind of overwhelmed by her talent. So anyway, I'm going to join in the fall again and become part of the artist group, and I think I'm going to paint again. It's if you can get the ideas down your arm and through into the paintbrush, which is tricky.
Now, if somebody wants a piece of your art, they can obviously go to the show and buy some.
Yes.
Any other way?
No, I don't have a website or anything. I'm quite lazy, and but I want to talk about one more thing.
Yes.
Next May, the Jewish Film Festival in Toronto is featuring me, because people come from all over the world. It happens in May, and they take over the theaters all around Avenue Road and Bloor. And during the 70s, many Jewish kids, like Lorne Michaels, who did Saturday Night Live, was doing shows for the CBC, and I was there, so I was in most of them. So they're going to run a whole lot of those early Jewish productions that the CBC did, and Lorne Michaels did very well, as we know.
Yeah, just so.
Yes.
Yeah, your career is one that's always in progress, though. New things keep happening.
Oh, of course.
So what plans do you have in the very near future or in the
Well,
far future?
my plan is to go to the next audition.
Yes.
And I have to tell you that it's very hard to get a job these days, because everything is auditioned for on email, and people from Europe can audition. You can go to open auditions and put yourself out there.
And so you're out there.
Oh, well, I'm not, though. I'm kind of shy. Yeah, I'm here, though. I'm here.
Yes, you're on the front porch. Now, will your appearance on the front porch show go on your resume?
I don't know. I never update my resume that much. Usually it's done by your agent.
So I think the answer is no.
No, well, maybe. maybe.
Anyways, Rosemary, thanks for being on the show.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
My pleasure.
Okay.